So this came to me from an artist I work with. He lives in Brooklyn, and we've worked together on a couple of projects. Um, we work with Schiffer Publishing out in at Glen, Pennsylvania. And several years ago, I met him at a book fair, the Jacob Javits book fairs. And, he was starting to get into the children's market. And I go, I've been working in the children's market for a very long time. How about we set up a meeting and I can bring you all the projects that I'm working on? He's like, yeah, sure. To make a long story short, I met him, threw like 25 projects on the table. And he's like, oh, that's very impressive. And he's like, hey, let's do this one, this one, this one, this one. So then, this is one of the books that came out. The Bastille Boys. Oh, sorry. Bastille Boys. There you go.
Got it.
And actually, it's a history lesson that people have forgotten about. So this is about the first deep sea dive.
Oh, wow.
By Ordis and Barton. So a lot of kids don't know anything like this. It's almost 100 years ago this happened, in the 30s. So we're kind of going rewinding to talk about some things that really happened that you'd be surprised happened.
Right, historical things in a fun way.
Yeah, and then we told it in rhyme. So we got, me and him hit it off, and then he kind of got in touch with me. He's like, okay, I'm working on something else. Would you like to publish it? I go, absolutely. And it's about COVID. So
when I saw the title, I was like, how are they going to write about this and not make it so, scary for children and off-putting? Because that is the first thing that comes to mind.
And staying out of the political circles.
Yes.
It took a lot of infighting to get it right because they came at it from a place of being in quarantine. I'm like, no, you cannot do that. It has to be about going back to school. And that's where, and so it was 3 months of hard work. And then I go, it's all wrong. Kind of like there's a deadline and you go, no, this is all wrong. We got to go back to the start. And I rewrote it and then he redesigned it so that the girl is, the little girl, Lisa, is dealing with the anxiety of going back to school. And she's not sure what it is. And she needs to learn quickly. And as we did this project with Lisa Carroll, who's she's retired now, but she used to be a stage actress. So she just reached out to Jerry Newland, who's the artist. And since they were very close in proximity, they started working together on the project. He was able to envision the monster. He wanted to put the monster in. That was his idea.
I loved how he envisioned the COVID monster. I think that's great.
And I tried to sell it to my publisher, my co-publisher, but for the big publishers, they have to send it overseas. So it has to go to China to get printed. And I could see all the hiccups that would
that's
take.
The whole logistics of that right now are a whole other issue. Yeah.
Right. So we would miss the boat completely if we went that way.
Right.
But because I'm a very small business, we'll get it printed in the US and avoid all that, and I can print it as fast as I can, as fast as the work is done. The problem with that channel is that you don't get upfront fees. You don't make anything until it's out there. So what I put out there now probably will not show up in any kind of funding until like March.
Wow. Okay.
So, like you and I, like we need to buy bread, we need to pay the electric bills, that kind of thing. So when I work with a publisher, there's usually fees up front versus, doing it our way where we'll take the risk and do it back. And then when we put out the book and we did how come we didn't think about the Spanish version?
Right. Right.
And that's where we go, we have to do a Spanish version. Why not? I mean, it's happening in those communities more than anywhere else.
Exactly.
So now the delicate situation is translating this to a language that everybody's comfortable with, because you have European Spanish, South American Spanish, and you have Central American Spanish. And everybody says it a little bit differently. So it makes our jobs fun. I could say it's not a boring place to, try to come up with these ideas and then meet some of the very interesting people out there, and then try to you have to look into a crystal ball and decide whether the landscape is correct for this project.
Right.
And it's always a gamble. You're always guessing. no matter how good you are, no matter how much experience you have, it could be the wrong moment, and we know we only have this fragile 6 months to do this. Yeah. So I got involved a little, like over the summer. We were thinking, okay, I think COVID's kind of over now. So no one wanted to touch it. I was like, I think we missed the moment. We think we missed it, but then I realized going to school is the way to tell the story.
Right.
So that's when I injected myself to, if you want it done and go through me, we have to do it this way. I think it turned out exactly what I hoped it would look like. Okay, so right now it is available in Barnes and Nobles, but it's not in the store.
Well, nobody's going into a store right now.
No one's going. So right, you have Amazon paperback. We have the Kindle. I'm finishing up the Kindle ebook right now, and there is an EPUB version as well. So everywhere, the big bad coronavirus book will have an audio to go along with it. And Adam actually did the first narrative about it. So I just need to start putting it together. But right now the Spanish version is more important than the audio book.
Yeah. Timing is everything with that. The audio will just be another follow-up.
And at the end of the day, that'll be a time capsule.
Exactly. Right.
So someone 5 years from now goes, that's the way it was like that.
What is that all about? Exactly.
The same way we talk about the 80s. Wow, that really happened. You really wore neon pink, didn't you? Yeah. We've already translated the book and we're putting it into the design page already. It's all set up, so I don't have to do much. The problem is afterwards when we look at it, where we'll decide whether does it sound right. Because sometimes you translate something and it doesn't sound right from English to Spanish.
Right. You miss the meaning a little bit.
There's nuances. You have to be careful of everybody's Spanish. Everybody's Spanish counts. Mexicans, Cubans, they're all very proud of the way they speak. Yeah, because all the hard work really is done. And now we're just, we got to change all the, the language right here.
Right. All the little signs. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So there's a couple area in the artwork where we have to, right here, the guidelines.
Right. I forgot in the art, there's also verbiage as well.
Yeah. So the artist is working on it right now, and I already got to see a few pages. Like, yep, perfect, keep going.
Awesome.
So so I think by next week I'll have all the content, and then I just spin it a few times and look at it, and usually after 2-3 tries, I kind of go, okay, I think I got it now, and close my eyes and press, execute, and hopefully that works.
Let it go, let it roll.
Exactly. I think there hasn't been much attempts to reach out to the minority communities in the correct way that I feel needs to be done. That was my first gut about this. If I stay in my lane and I do what I do well, I could give a message very easy. Yeah. And it could have got much deeper, but we thought, let's not do that. Let's not go there. Let's just give them four basic things to remember. What else do you really want from a child anyway? And I don't be political. I don't do anything. These are just, can you just follow 4 things? Can you just do these things? That's it. That's as simple as I can explain it,
Right. And in the context of the book, it's done in a very fun way, a family way, friendly way.
And it's coming from a child.
Yeah, exactly.
Which isn't imposing, which isn't anything else besides she wants to learn about what's going on. And I'm hoping there's a child out there who will read it in Spanish and then explain it to their grandmother.
Exactly, right? Yes.
Who doesn't speak a word of English.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping to achieve from this.
Right. You can get the message backwards from a parent to a child and back to an elderly member of the family, right? Which would be amazing. So
right. So that's the real challenge for me now, because the book is easy. The book was the easy part for me.
Right.
How do you get that message out there? In some ways, I feel like that's a public service I could do. That's something I could at least try to do where I'll feel I did my part. I don't want to go outside and argue with people.
Right.
that's the opposite of what I'm trying to do.
Right.
It's not about politics. It's about, it's about like taking care of this person's friend or relative or something like that. Yeah, it comes from a place of kindness. It doesn't come from a place of egos. It doesn't come from a place of power. It's something that as easy as helping your neighbor mow their lawn. I mean, it comes from there.
Right.